So now we just pull this straight up. Okay. So if you look at this hose right here that we're trying to loosen to get out of the way, you see that it has these zip ties, and then these zip ties are going into these brackets, and this is all around through the whole thing. So instead of actually doing these zip ties, we're just going to loosen these brackets and just take them off and store the screws, and that way we can get more area to work and remove the coil packs.
There it is.
Yeah. Alright. I'm actually going to go ahead and undo the rest of these. You want to be careful not to drop these screws down there, so take your time and be patient with these things. Okay. So we're going to get this guy. But I could. I'm going to do that. Let's see, doesn't really matter. You can see here it's been removed before. There's different marks on here from like when it sits. And you can see there's previous marks here. So what you want to do is always set these back the same way, so that they seal the same way, because it actually does make a difference. And if you look at any service manual, it says in there to do that. So anyways. You don't want to pull too hard or anything, because whatever it's connected to, you can damage that. So in this case, I'm just going to set this aside right here, so it just doesn't get in the way. So we have an area to work there. So. There we go. All right, unplugged. For this one here, we should be able to maneuver that out of the way, and then just all we have to do is move this hose right here. I want to confirm the gap is still set as it's supposed to be. We're going to apply some anti-seize lubricant on the plugs. This will make, this is kind of dirty. This will make removing the plugs next time very easy for the next lucky owner of this used G35. It also helps prevent the threads on the block from rusting, because I see on a lot of older blocks when I change the plugs that the threads are pretty rusted, and I mean that's okay, but it's obviously nicer not to have rusted threads. So I'm going to use some of this lubricant on the threads of the spark plug. So the way I like to do that, there's different ways of doing it obviously, but I'm going to take a little piece of paper like this. I'm going to roll it up in a convenient compact form like so, and set it aside. I'm going to take some of this anti-seize.
Not to be confused with antifreeze.
That's right. And I'm going to apply some of that.
So what kind of anti-seize are you using?
Just Permatex. Anyways, and that's pretty much all you need. What you want to do is you want to take this little applicator that I've made, and you want to spread that stuff around like this, and see it picks up all the excess, and then you kind of want to just rub that in up until the last couple threads there. You don't want to go too far down. You want to avoid getting this on the, obviously on the electrode and anywhere else. Alright. So I mean that looks pretty good to me. So we're gonna go ahead and coat all the plugs like that, and install them. So okay, so we've got the plugs all set up here. They're ready to be inserted into the engine block, and I've labeled each one of the boxes so that when we take the old plugs out, we can put them back in here. And for example, this is passenger side rear. That's the cylinders actually have a numbering. I'm not really sure what it is, so I'm doing it in an intuitive way for me. So passenger side rear, and then we have like driver side middle. Let's find the front. Driver side front right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and store the old plugs back in here and use these protecting things so that I can recheck the gap later if I want to on the old plugs, see how much it changed while the plugs were in use. Okay, so now we have to remove the old plugs. Drop it in there, and then make sure it's sitting firmly on the plug so you don't crack the porcelain on there. That's going to be a big problem. Make sure that you're trying to apply the force straight down so that you're right over the plug, because if you angle it, you might crack the porcelain. You gotta be careful. Take it out. Just try to be careful.